into...
I'm talking! And I'm not listening!
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 TV bullies who got what they deserved.
But here's the rub. You lose, they win.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most satisfying times TV ruffians got a taste of sweet, sweet revenge. Heads up, we'll only be looking at playground rivals here, not full-on evil villains. What other TV jerks are in need of some karma? Tattle in the comments down below. Number 20. Meg Flips the Script, Family Guy. The Griffin's daughter isn't exactly what you'd call well-respected by her family, but when the clan is holed up together during a hurricane, she's told to shut up, Meg, one too many times.
Is it too much to ask to be treated with a little decency from my brother? Maybe show me some kind of kindness by not jumping on the Let's Get Meg family bandwagon?
Finally, at her breaking point, Meg proceeds to ruthlessly tear into her family with some very hard-hitting truths. It's definitely on the harsh side, but after almost 10 seasons of being the Griffin's resident scapegoat, Meg's explosion was totally warranted, if only because Lois, Peter, and the others finally got a taste of their own medicine.
You're a total and complete embarrassment in every possible way. Take a good look at yourself, Peter Griffin. You're a waste of a man.
While the family dynamics inevitably return to status quo, it's nice to know that Meg can still dish it out when need be. Number 19. Hampton the Hero, Tiny Toon Adventures. Everyone at Acme Luniversity knew that Montana Max needed to be taken down a peg. Of course, Hampton never expected he'd have to do it himself. But after an incident involving a locker door, Max insists that they settle things after school.
Well, large boy, we'll see how tough you are.
I hope you have medical insurance.
Hampton isn't too confident about his chances, to the point that he even starts writing his own will. Luckily, Porky Pig's advice helps the piglet clinch victory. In fact, he wins without even throwing a punch.
I didn't mind it when you threatened me, but now you've hurt my friends. You got me!
Instead, Hampton pretends to be so angry, it scares Max off through sheer intimidation alone. Considering Max is the one who challenged Hampton in the first place, this kind of humiliating defeat is only fair. Number 18. Domestic Disturbance, Stargate SG1. When some thugs crash their car into another vehicle, they start blaming everyone except for themselves.
Listen, man, if you don't know how to drive, maybe you should try staying off the damn road!
Well, maybe if you hadn't been tailgating me, this wouldn't happen.
Thankfully, Teal'c is there to dole out some justice, and in his defense, he tries everything he can to resolve things peacefully. But when the perpetrators start speaking with their fists, Teal'c does the same. It's a pretty vindicating exchange. At least provided you don't blink through it. One headbutt and a few punches later, the fight is already over. Honestly, calling it a fight at all is pretty generous considering how fast it all goes down.
I believe it will now be necessary to notify the police.
A piece of advice: next time Teal'c's around, just walk away. Number 17. Harold Goes Broke, The Amazing World of Gumball. Richard is too nice for his own good. He lets the likes of Harold Wilson walk all over him since they were in high school, but no more. At last, Richard decides to prove everyone wrong by getting back at Harold where it hurts the most: his wallet.
We laugh, he cries, we laugh some more, the end.
Gumball's father forges a check for $1,001,001 and then sits back and watches as Harold destroys his own life. He quits his job, replaces his wife, and blows up his home, all with money that he doesn't actually have. Is this plan completely diabolical? Yes, 100%. But given just how much Harold tormented Richard, it's hard to feel too bad for him.
I'm impressed, Dad. But what did you say to him?
I told him if he stacks his dynamite closer together, he'll get a more intensive blast.
Number 16. Jinxed, Teen Titans. You know how they say to never meet your heroes? Well, that's double the case for supervillains. Unfortunately, Jinx had to learn that one the hard way. She only wanted the simple things in life: to join the Brotherhood of Evil, defeat a few heroes, and earn the respect of her idol, Madame Rouge.
Do you have any idea how bad it's gonna be if Madame Rouge shows up and we don't have him?
However, the stretchy criminal is only interested in belittling all of Jinx's efforts. Eventually, the teen decides she's no one's second fiddle, and proves as much by blasting Madame Rouge with a well-deserved hex blast.
I don't care who you are. Nobody messes with me.
Later, Jinxed even sided with the Titans to take down the Brotherhood of Evil once and for all. Talk about karma. Number 15. Shutting down a tantrum. Doctor Who. When it comes to deplorable father figures, Eddie Connolly might just take the whole cake.
Excuse me, sunshine, I am talking.
Within a few minutes of meeting him, it's abundantly clear that he's rude, self-absorbed, quick-tempered, and unleashes all of that on his poor family. Connolly even tries to intimidate the Doctor too, but thankfully the time traveler is having none of it. He rises to his feet and essentially says that he isn't there to hear a grown man whine.
Now you, Mr. Connolly, you are staring into a deep, dark pit of trouble if you don't let me help. So I'm ordering you, sir, tell me what's going on!
The comeback is worth a round of applause, especially since Eddie has nothing to back up his bravado. Next time, he should check his attitude before getting a house call from the Doctor. Number 14. Heather's close shave. Total drama. Even in a competition that rewards lying and manipulation, Heather still easily went down as the season's biggest villain. It took until there were only 3 players left, but she finally got what was coming for her. Or should we say, her hair did.
Have your head shaved by Shep.
Lindsay rules!
In this high-stakes game of truth or dare, Heather had to choose between going home or going bald. When it got down to the wire, she kicked the razor up and right onto her own head. But the hair loss wasn't even the worst part. Since Heather still technically refused the dare, she was sent home anyway.
Wow. Well, that was an unfortunate accident. Looks like Heather's out.
You couldn't ask for a more poetic end to Heather's tyranny. Number 13. Charlie Brown for the win. He's a bully, Charlie Brown. Look, it's no small secret that the lead of the Peanuts gang isn't exactly raking in many victories. After all, he's whiffed on a whole lot more footballs than he's kicked. But when the new kid, Joe Agate, starts messing with his friends, Charlie Brown does the unthinkable. He wins a game. Not just any game either. One that was quite literally for all the marbles.
Knuckle down, Joe. This is for keeps.
Since Joe scammed most of the other kids out of their pieces, it's vindicating to see Charlie Brown of all people win them back. Sure, it's always nice when a jerk gets their comeuppance, but really, we're just happy Charlie finally got one on the board.
What's he grinning about? You won't believe it! Charlie Brown actually won something. Not a chance.
Number 12. Humiliated every which way. Bewitched. As early as the series' very first episode, Samantha made it known that she does not tolerate any kind of snobby behavior, and her fiancé's ex, Sheila, was the perfect candidate to make an example of.
Dr. Hafter, do you know him? No. The plastic surgeon. Does beautiful nose work. No, I don't know him.
After enduring several underhanded insults, Samantha ruined Sheila's whole night by conjuring itches, wins, unzippings, and more. Eventually, she fled dinner altogether in shame. In fact, Sheila was so embarrassed, she didn't show her face for another few seasons. She still hadn't learned her lesson though, so to put it nicely, Sheila's second night out with the Stevens didn't go much better than the first.
Oh, these petit fours are delicious. I must ask Sheila where she got them.
Fingers crossed she finally got the message. Number 11. Fiery Betrayal. Avatar: The Last Airbender. With how Azula treated, well, everyone, it was only a matter of time before her 2 traveling companions finally stood up to her. May was the first to crack, but it wasn't because of the name-calling or microaggressions. No, as she said herself, May simply loved Zuko more than she feared Azula.
I guess you just don't know people as well as you think you do. You miscalculated.
If that didn't hurt the princess's ego enough, Ty Lee immediately turned on her too. The fact that Azula ends this scene as a limp doll on the ground is as apt a metaphor as you can get.
What shall we do with them, princess?
Put them somewhere I'll never have to see their faces again, and let them rot!
She'd later succumb to the guilt-induced madness, which all could have been avoided if she'd just been a bit nicer in the first place. Number 10. Barry's Supersonic Punch. The Flash. Barry Allen may be the fastest man alive now, but he wasn't always so athletically gifted. As a kid, he was bullied by future metahuman Tony Woodward.
I've known guys like you. Peaked in high school, never got over it. All these powers, and look at you. Bully then, bully now.
When Woodward abducts Barry's love interest Iris, the Flash is shocked to find that his bully is now superpowered too, able to transform himself into steel. At first, the super-fast hero is unable to break through Tony's skin. However, by pushing himself faster than he's ever gone, he's able to land a supersonic punch, which, with some help from Iris, finally takes Tony down.
Supersonic punch, baby! Woo!
Number 9. Captain Kirk fights Finnegan. Star Trek. The crew of the Enterprise face many challenges while exploring the final frontier, but one of the greatest is what they've brought with them.
Finnegan? I can't believe it. You never know when I'm going to strike. Huh, Jim? How's Jim?
While taking shore leave, the crew find their own imaginations and pasts seemingly coming alive to haunt them. Kirk is confronted with Finnegan, a mischievous bully from his time at Starfleet Academy. The two of them get into a fight, and although Finnegan, who hasn't aged, at first appears to have the upper hand, Kirk bounces back and is able to defeat his former tormentor. Number 8. Miley and Lily get accidental revenge. Hannah Montana. While Miley Stewart's attempts to keep her identity as teen idol Hannah Montana a secret do help her live an ordinary life day by day, they also leave her vulnerable to ordinary bullies.
Hell, we'd like to, but we don't speak hillbilly. Or do our wash down yonder in the creek.
Two of her most frequent tormentors are Amber and Ashley, who are ironically big Hannah Montana fans. During a camping trip, both bullies do everything they can to embarrass Miley and her friend Lily, who end up locked in a portable toilet, which tips over. Fortunately, since Amber and Ashley watched the proceedings while standing in Poison Oak, it's a hollow victory.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I call it the scratch dance. Contagious, isn't it?
Number 7. Sam defends Carly from Jocelyn. iCarly. The title character's best friend and co-host Sam can be pretty aggressive, and a bit of a bully.
I think of you and me as really close friends.
Apparently, I haven't caused him enough emotional pain.
After being made aware of this side of herself, in front of a boy she's crushing on, Sam makes an effort to be nicer. But during her attempts to turn over a new leaf, the group encounters even bigger bully Jocelyn, stretching Sam's self-control to the limit.
Let me down!
No!
Can someone call the police?
When Jocelyn messes with Carly, Carly gives Sam the go-ahead to let Jocelyn have it, which Sam takes to with gusto, managing to take down the bully and impress the boy at the same time.
Sam? Yeah? Rip her head off.
Rip my head off? I'd love to see her try it.
Number 6. SpongeBob vs. Flats the Flounder. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Out of my way! Out of my way! Can't you see he's gonna kick my butt?
In an episode appropriately called The Bully, the cheerful yellow protagonist encounters Flats, the massive bully fish who joins his boating class.
Tell the class something about yourself, Flats.
Well, I like to kick people's butts.
Flats promises to kick SpongeBob's butt, and the hapless sea sponge tries everything he can to escape throughout the episode. Ultimately, though, Flats tracks him down and proceeds to punch him.
Gary, I'm absorbing his blows like I was made of some kind of spongy material.
Except that SpongeBob did not realize that his soft body would absorb the blows, leading to Flats exhausting himself over the next week in a fruitless attempt to make good on his promise.
Do not cheer me, my fellow adult classmates. Flats was the real victim here. A victim of a society that's riding down a violent road to nowhere. A road I call Violence Road.
Number 5. Reese beats up all the hooligans. Malcolm in the Middle. The other middle child of Malcolm's family, Reese, epitomizes school bullies everywhere. But when he loses to a girl at wrestling, Reese gives up his role as the school's #1 tormentor.
And Reese hasn't made me eat grass for a week. Everything tastes better.
Unfortunately, this creates a power vacuum, with several lesser bullies vying for the vacant position, and leading to kids who were previously off limits, such as Malcolm's friend Stevie, getting picked on too. This spurs Reese to reclaim his former position by taking down the new bullies in rapid succession, and with great flair, proving that he's the best at what he does.
Thanks. Reese?
Starting tomorrow, you're back doing my booking parts.
Sure.
Number 4. Wendy vs. Cartman. South Park. Eric Cartman might be hilarious, but he's also a pretty despicable bully, so it's always great to see him taken down a peg. One of the best examples occurs after he mocks Stan's on-again, off-again girlfriend Wendy's presentation on breast cancer.
Look out, everyone! There's some killer titties on the loose.
Wendy promises to fight Cartman after school, which leaves the cowardly scumbag to try everything he can think of to get out of it, even eating his own underwear. Although he briefly appears to have escaped after involving their parents, the principal, a breast cancer survivor, gives Wendy the okay, leading to Cartman being beaten to a satisfyingly bloody pulp.
All right, fine, Wendy. I'll fight you, you big bully.
Number 3. Steve hires Stan's old rival to beat him up, American Dad. Given how macho the eponymous American Dad Stan Smith is, he's often unable to accept the nerdy and unaggressive nature of his son Steve.
Anyway, Steve avoids every obstacle. He's a total wimp. When I was a kid, you used to get your ass kicked if you were a wimp.
So in a misguided attempt to toughen his son up, he begins bullying him both at home and at school, relating how his own bully, Stelio Contos, made him the man he is today. Fed up with his father's tactics, Steve tracks down his dad's old tormentor and hires him to beat Stan up, which Stelio Contos executes in epic style, complete with his own theme song. Number 2. Steve and Max vs. Billy, Stranger Things. While 11 making Mike's bully Troy wet his pants was quite satisfying, for our money, this is the better bully takedown in Stranger Things.
I don't know what you don't understand about what I just said. She's not here.
And who is that?
Max's stepbrother Billy takes out his frustration at being bullied himself by his father on poor Max and Steve. A confrontation at Will's house leads to a brawl between Billy and Steve, which, although Steve puts up a good fight, leaves Billy the victor. Fortunately, Max is able to hit her obnoxious step-sibling with a tranquilizer, and with some help from a nail-studded bat, put the fear into Billy for a change.
From here on out, you leave me and my friends alone. Do you understand?
Screw you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Bart forms an army and water balloons Nelson, The Simpsons. Nelson Muntz is among the most famous TV bullies, and he's received several memorable punishments for his bullying over The Simpsons' long run, such as the whole town laughing at him for a change.
Hey, everybody, look at this! It's that boy who laughs at everyone. Let's laugh at him!
But our pick has to go to this epic occasion in his earliest appearance. After being bullied by Nelson, Bart Simpson decides that he'll seek help from his grandfather, as well as unhinged military veteran Herman. In an homage to war films, Bart then gathers many of his classmates to pelt Nelson with water balloons in a thoroughly epic battle from which Nelson emerges the clear loser.
Don't hurt us! Oh, we surrender! Oh, we were only following orders!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.